we dealt with the lead-in for the Spirits of Venom, and now it's time to get to the actual main story arc. And we start off with Web of Spider-Man, issue number 95. So we start off with Spider-Man, and he's carrying Hobgoblin, and he's swinging through the city. And it's going to take him to the police. When all of a sudden, he gets attacked. And he gets attacked by Doppelganger and Demogoblin. And I like Demogoblin. Demogoblin's like a cool villain. Demogoblin's whole shtick is that he is a demon who kills other demons, and basically he's like a race of demons. They've like evolved, and he's out to kill all the other demons. He's out to kill all the sinners and evils in the world. And then once his race of people are the only demons left, then they're all going to kill each other until there's only one left, and that one will get redeemed. And I'm like, okay, that's such a cool little story. I wished it was more focused on that. But yeah, the two of them are working together, and they attack Spider-Man and Hobgoblin. Demogoblin basically wants to attack Hobgoblin. Demogoblin, he was born from some of the demonic sin that came from Hobgoblin. So yeah, the attack, Demogoblin basically gives Spider-Man, an opportunity to leave. He's like, just give me Hobgoblin. Of course, Spider-Man won't do that, so we get a fight scene. Eventually, at one point, he's able to grab Doppelganger and chuck him at Demogoblin, and then he grabs Hobgoblin and starts swinging away, and he lands inside a nearby church. Meanwhile, we have Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider, and they're in the sewers. So this takes place after the final lead-in, which was Ghost Rider, Blaze Spirits of Vengeance, issue number 4. You guys can see that in the previous video. But they're basically down in tunnels. They're searching for the Deathspawn. They're also looking for humans. Basically, in the last lead-in issue, a homeless man told them that there were a bunch of other homeless and just people taken off the streets and dragged down here to be feasted upon. So that's why Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider are down here. While down there, they meet Venom. And Venom is kind of acting good. Quotation marks. Basically, he's out to go after the killers. He doesn't like the fact that they've been taking people from his territory. And then, of course, that's when Hag and Troll arrive. And then we basically get a big showdown. We get a showdown between Hag, Troll, the Deathspawn against Venom, Johnny Blaze, and Ghost Rider. And as that's going on, we come back to the church where Spider-Man comes across a priest. His name is Father Martin. Spider-Man basically tells him, hey, we are being chased by something. We need someplace where we can lay low for a little while. And of course, the father's like, I know who you are, Spider-Man. I know of all the good works you do. There's a place down here deep beneath the church. You should be safe from whoever is after you. And so as they're doing that, Demogoblin and Doppelganger show up at the church. And the priest arrives. And Doppelganger goes to attack the priest when Demogoblin grabs him and pulls him back. It's like, no, the Holy One must not be harmed, only the sinners. And that's when he senses that Spider-Man is somewhere here. So he goes down and he sees Spider-Man, and he lobs one of his bombs at him, the pumpkin bomb. And then back to the sewers we go, where the fight's going on. They're able to capture Hag and Troll. They got him wrapped up when all of a sudden Venom uses his web-slinging powers to wrap him up and swing out of there with the two of them. And he leaves Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider behind. And back in the church, Venom is climbing up out of the hole when he sees Spider-Man, and he's pissed off at Spider-Man because him and Spider-Man kind of had a partnership, a temporary truce while they were battling Carnage. And after that whole battle, of course, Spider-Man, Venom sees Spider-Man as betraying him because Spider-Man attacked him. So Venom wants Spider-Man dead. So he goes after Spider-Man. Unfortunately for him, Doppelganger gets in the way. Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider climb out of the hole, and then we just have chaos because the Deathspawn follow after them, and we just have a showdown between everybody. And in the midst of this, the Deathspawn are able to grab Hobgoblin and pull him down into the hole. All the other Deathspawn start going down there after him. Johnny Blaze, seeing that all their enemies are back in the hole, dives back down there. So they climbed out of the hole for nothing. He jumps back down there, shooting his guns like crazy. Ghost Rider eventually jumps in. Everyone goes down into this hole until the only people that are left are Spider-Man and the priest. And Spider-Man's like, you know what? I don't know if I want to go back down there. Like, the enemies want to see me dead. There are so many of them. We don't really have that many allies. I mean, it's basically just Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider. I can't really trust Venom. I have a wife. I have a family. I'm tired. Do I really want to go down there and fight? And the priest is like, you know what? No one will think any less of you if you want to leave. You can bail if you want. Follow your heart. I'll always tell you what's right. You're a good person. You saved a lot of countless lives. So if you want to go, then go. But as he's giving this speech, the Deathspawn climb out, grab the priest, and yank him down. And then Spider-Man's like, well, looks like my choice has been made for me. And then he jumps down in the hole after the priest. And that's when we get to the next issue. So part 2 out of 4. It is Ghost Rider and Blaze, Spirits of Venom. And so, yeah, we start off with Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider down in the sewers, shooting the crap out of the Deathspawn, fighting them. That's when Spider-Man drops down the hole and he joins the fray. I love this 2-page splash of just everybody fighting each other. Venom's taking on Doppelganger. Hag and Troll are just over in the corner carrying the body of Deathwatch. Yeah, at some points, the heroes are getting overrun. There's too many of them, especially Johnny Blaze. He's getting crushed under just this huge gauntlet of Deathspawn when he sees like a flammable tube, and he shoots it with his Hellfire shotgun. Causes a huge explosion. The explosion kind of separates the group. So Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider and Venom and Hag and Troll are on one side. Meanwhile, the Deathspawn have captured Spider-Man. They've captured the priest. They captured Hobgoblin, and they captured Doppelganger, and they're rushing away with their trophies. And Ghost Rider wants to go after them. He's like, Spider-Man's our ally. We got to assist him. Venom gets, upset too, because Venom is like, no, he's ours. Like, we're the only one who's allowed to kill him. And Johnny Blaze shoots him. He kind of just grazes him, really, but he does it on purpose. He's not trying to kill Venom. He's just trying to graze him to get his attention. And of course, Venom gets pissed off at this. He goes after Johnny Blaze. He's going to rip out his spine when Ghost Rider throws one of his chains around Venom's neck. Venom grabs the chain, whips Ghost Rider into the wall, and then he's about to attack Johnny Blaze again when Johnny Blaze puts the shotgun up to his face and basically says, I'm going to blow your head off if you want to continue with this. He's like, what do you want? And Venom says, we want vengeance. We want the killers that you helped escape. We want Spider-Man's brains. And stay out of my way or I'm going to eat your brains alongside Spider-Man's. So Venom walks off on his own. Meanwhile, it's just Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider. During all this chaos, Hag and Troll have, of course, left. And so all that's left is Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider in the body of Deathwatch. And Ghost Rider's like, we know Hag and Troll will be back for the body. So we're going to let's take the body with us. They must be trying to do something to restore his life. That's the only other reason I can think of for them to be carrying this corpse around with them. The demon spawn are his children, so there's some kind of connection there. Eventually, Ghost Rider hears the cries of the innocent, so he breaks a wall in the sewers and he follows the noise, and he sees just a giant pit. He's like, the screams are coming from down there. And that's when all of a sudden one of the Deathspawn rush out from the darkness, grabs the corpse of Deathwatch, dives into the hole. So they fall down, and then that's when they hear the cries of they hear noise. And Venom's like, I'm the killers are the innocent, they must die. And he jumps into the fray. He's about to start killing the Deathspawn when Ghost Rider wraps his chain around him and pulls him back. And that's when Venom realizes that he's not about to attack a Deathspawn. He's actually about to attack an innocent person. And so that's when they find all the homeless people and the people that were kidnapped. and they basically said that we're kept down here for food. Like they feed us just enough to keep us going, and then they come down here and they grab whoever they can and eat whatever they can, from us. They steal our life force. And then that's when they also see Spider-Man, Demogoblin, Doppelganger, Hobgoblin, and the priest. And they're all kind of like stuck on this wall, kind of webbed in. Of course, Venom goes to try to eat Spider-Man when Ghost Rider has to pull him back. That's when Hag and Troll show up along with a bunch of Deathspawn. And a fight is about to start. So, of course, Johnny Blaze frees Spider-Man. He frees the priest. And he's basically telling them, he's telling the priest to get the homeless people and get the hell out of there. Spider-Man jumps into the battle to help out his allies. The Deathspawn are carrying the body of Deathwatch away. Ghost Rider sees it, and he goes to chase after them when Johnny Blaze stops him. And he's like, the Deathspawn are taking him in a different direction from everybody else. We have to get these innocent people out first. And Ghost Rider's like, all right, you're correct. We'll go after Deathwatch later, but right now we can't see any more innocent blood be spilled. And so Venom, Ghost Rider, and Johnny Blaze jump into the fray to continue their battle. And then that's when we get Spirits of Venom Part 3, which is Web of Spider-Man, issue number 96. And of course, since it's a Spider-Man issue, we start off with Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is basically being carried and dragged down by the Deathspawn. He's trying to fight his way out of here while also carrying the body of the priest who's unconscious at the moment. Spider-Man is able to web himself up into the ceiling, and he realizes that, well, in the previous battle, Johnny Blaze was able to shoot at one of the pipes and cause an explosion to buy them some time. Maybe I can do something kind of similar. So instead, since he doesn't have any explosives, he sees a water pipe, and he breaks it, and he uses the water to hose down the Deathspawn. Meanwhile, we cut to Venom, and Venom is crawling around, and he sees Doppelganger and Demogoblin. And they have Hobgoblin webbed to a wall. And Demogoblin is basically telling his story, which I already explained earlier, about how it's his destiny to rid the world of every trace of demonic blood. And so he has to kill Hobgoblin. It's not enough to just take out the tainted blood from Hobgoblin. He has to kill every vile demon kind that there is. Until eventually all that's left is his own kind, and then they'll fight each other, and whoever survives gets redemption. But before he can kill Hobgoblin, Venom jumps into the fray. And then we cut to Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze, and they're taking on some of the Deathspawn. They're able to capture one of them, and Ghost Rider decides to use his penance stare against it, hoping that, if there's even a fragment of a skull in this creature, then it will feel the pain of all its victims, and then it will do what I command, and we can have it lead us to where we need to go. But instead, the penance stare causes this thing to just blow up into flames. It just dies. So they're like, all right, well, I guess that's not going to work. Meanwhile, Spider-Man and the priest are walking through the sewers. And Spider-Man is trying to tell the priest, you have to get back to the surface. You got to go. And the priest refuses. He's like, how can I go when I know that there are others? There are other survivors still down here. We need to get all of them. And that's when Spider-Man hears the sounds of battle, and he decides to make his appearance. And that's when he discovers Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider, and all the other humans, and they're trying to hold off against the Deathspawn. And of course, Spider-Man gets involved to try to, help out as much as he can. Eventually, they're able to kind of push the Demon Spawn back a little bit, and that's when Spider-Man and Johnny Blaze get an idea, and Johnny Blaze starts shooting at the ceiling. Spider-Man uses his web slinging to swing at the ceiling, and then he also tells Ghost Rider, hey, we got a plan. Throw your chain up there. He throws his chain up there, and then Spider-Man and Ghost Rider yank down on their chain and webs, causing the ceiling to collapse, and basically stopping the Deathspawn temporarily. And they decide, all right, well, now that we have some free time, let's get the hell out of here. Let's save these people. But then that's when Spider-Man hears all three of them hear the screams of Hobgoblin. And then, of course, Spider-Man, he can't let anyone die, even if it's one of his rivals. So he swings in and he stops Demogoblin just as he's about to kill Hobgoblin. And then, of course, Doppelganger shows up and is about to attack Spider-Man when Venom shows up and hits Doppelganger from behind. And we basically just get a crazy fight where Spider-Man is trying to fight Venom as well as Demogoblin. Demogoblin is fighting Venom. Venom is trying to fight Spider-Man. Basically, everyone's kind of fighting each other. And during all this chaos, Doppelganger gets thrown into Demogoblin, which prevents him from being able to deliver the killing blow to Hobgoblin. Spider-Man jumps into the fray and starts attacking Demogoblin while Venom goes after Doppelganger. Eventually, they're able to knock out their opponents, and the Deathspawn show up, grab Demogoblin and Doppelganger, and pull them under the water. So now Spider-Man frees Hobgoblin. He's like, all right, I'm going to take you to prison now. And of course, Venom attacks and starts fighting Spider-Man. And Ghost Rider shows up, wraps his chain around Venom. And then, basically he tells Spider-Man, go take Hobgoblin out of here along with the hostages, the humans. And I'm going to hold off against Venom. And that's when that issue ends. So now we get the conclusion to Spirits of Venom. Ghost Rider and Blaze, Spirits of Vengeance, issue number 6. So we start off this image with a really cool splash page. We basically get like a point of view from inside Venom's mouth. So we see like his teeth and his tongue as it's looking down on Ghost Rider. This is like a really cool visual. I don't know. I just really like it. It reminds me of this old Newgrounds Flash series. It was like a zombie series. I think it was called Hard Rain. I don't know if anyone remembers that. But there's this cool visual where one of the zombies is eating someone. And we get a point of view shot from inside the zombie's mouth as it comes closer and takes a chunk out of a human and starts chewing. That was just like a cool visual. But yeah, Ghost Rider and Venom start fighting each other. And it kind of goes back and forth. Eventually, Venom pins Ghost Rider down, but Ghost Rider uses his penance there along with his Hellfire. And the Hellfire doesn't necessarily burn Venom. It has some other weird effect on Venom because Venom is an alien. Yeah, it causes like an explosion. Both men get knocked down. Venom gets up first, and he's about to go after Ghost Rider when Johnny Blaze shows up behind him with the Hellfire shotgun to his head. And we get this weird thing where while the shotgun is on his head, part of Venom's symbiote comes out and wraps around his finger and the trigger to prevent Johnny Blaze from squeezing it. And so Johnny Blaze grabs a knife and stabs Venom. And here's my biggest nitpick of this series. I'm gonna use this little panel as an example, but it's happened a couple times throughout this series, this arc. And that's the fact that important things are kind of done almost off camera. Like some of the composition of the panels are not great. Like the artwork is amazing. I love the artwork. But like for example here, we see Johnny Blaze and he's pulling out the knife. You might miss it because his glove and the knife kind of blend in with his suit because his suit has the little white, over the blue, and then the blade's like the same color as the white trimmings. And then his glove, his jacket, and the handle are almost like the same type of brownish color. So, I mean, you can see him holding the knife, but you might not at first. It kind of blends in. But then you get the next panel where Johnny is stabbing Venom. But if you look, all the stabbing is happening pretty much off panel. Like we just see a little bit of his hands and a little bits of the knife handle. We don't actually see his hand or his arm coming down on Venom. So it looks weird. It looks like Venom is just making this really weird face. It's kind of like, okay, what exactly is going on? And then it's because, Venom mentions that first you use your gun, then you use a knife, and then you can see the knife sticking out of his arm. But for a moment, I was like, wait, when the hell did he stab him? Oh, he stabbed him right there, but you can barely see it. This happens a couple of times in this arc, in previous issues, where you'll have something, but you'll have an opponent getting kicked, but you'll have the feet like the Spider-Man's leg going off panel, and then you might see like the victim's hand in the panel, but that's it. You don't actually see the point of impact from the kick. So you'll get actions that are just cut off, and I really, really hated that. Like that's my biggest nitpick of this entire arc, is the fact that the artwork is gorgeous, but some of the composition ideas are just terrible. Like things are just too zoomed in, that things are happening off panel. It reminds me very much of like back in the day when movies would, first you had the movies come out in theaters, and of course the theaters are widescreen, but then when they get formatted to television, instead of having the white screen with the two black bars, back in the day they used to just stretch out so that the movie covers the entire TV monitor. But because you're stretching it out, you're going to miss things on the side. That's kind of what's going on here, where you have things going on just off panel, and it feels kind of like they filmed this for like a theater, and then they format it to TV, so things get cut off, and it's really annoying. I didn't really like that at all. I mean, it's not enough to drag the story down, but it did bother me as I was reading this. And like I said, it happens multiple times. I'm just kind of using this one 3-page panel as an example. Anyways, Johnny Blaze stabs Venom. Venom swipes him away and goes to attack him, when all of a sudden the Deathspawn show up. They grab Ghost Rider, they grab Johnny Blaze, and then eventually they also tackle down Venom, and they drag all three through the floor. Meanwhile, we cut to topside, where Spider-Man shows up with Hobgoblin, the priest, and all of the innocent humans that were kept down there. And the guardsmen show up, and Spider-Man basically hands over Hobgoblin to the guardsmen, tells him to put him in a cell and throw away the key. And then he also tells them that there's a bunch of Deathspawn down. I get as many men as you can. There's something big going down in the sewers. I gotta go down there and help my buddies. Follow me when you can. And then, we cut to Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider, Venom, Hag and Troll are also there. So is Deathwatch. And they're going to do this ritual to try to bring Deathwatch back. And so all of a sudden, all the Deathspawn go and start merging into Deathwatch. And they're able to revive him. But he still needs to feed on more people. And so he goes to Johnny Blaze, and he's going to feed on Johnny Blaze when Spider-Man shows up, and he shoots his web at Deathwatch, pulls him away, chucks his Hellfire shotgun at Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blaze grabs it, and then he uses it to blast Ghost Rider free, and then Ghost Rider frees Johnny Blaze. And we get a battle. Ghost Rider basically goes after Deathwatch. Meanwhile, Spider-Man is trying to fight off against Hag and Troll, and Johnny Blaze also sees that a bunch of Deathspawn are showing up as well. And he's like, all right, well, we can't do this on our own. So he shoots at Venom. He shoots at the contraption holding Venom down and frees him. And so once again, we get another chaotic battle where everyone's fighting each other. And eventually, Ghost Rider is able to use his chain to wrap around Deathwatch, and he uses his Hellfire, I think, to burn out the Deathspawn, because we just see like the Deathspawn erupting from Deathwatch's body, and then the body just collapses. Meanwhile, Johnny Blaze tackles Hag and Troll down and puts the Hellfire gun to the back of their head, and basically has them pinned down. And Spider-Man is able to fight off the rest of the Deathspawn. He's about to get attacked by Venom when Johnny Blaze shoots in between them and basically tells him to knock it off. And Venom is going to ignore him when he gets shot in the back by a sonic disruptor. The guardsmen have showed up, and they imprison Venom. And we get our final shot of the series, where we have Deathwatch, Hag, and Troll wrapped up in Ghost Rider's chains. Meanwhile, Doppelganger, Hobgoblin, and Venom are being taken in by the guardsmen. Spider-Man says, maybe you should hand over Troll, Hag, and Deathwatch to the guardsmen as well. And Ghost Rider's like, no, there are some forces here that even science can't restrain. We need to seek out Doctor Strange. He'll probably know what to do. And so Spider-Man bids his farewell, Meanwhile, Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze hop on their motorcycles and they drive off, dragging Troll, Hag, and Deathwatch behind them. And that's how it ends. But yeah, there you go. There's Spirits of Venom. I want to thank Taryn Iser for suggesting that that I check it out and do a video on it. He requested a video for it, and I was like, sure. Ghost Rider, I love Ghost Rider. Spider-Man, love Spider-Man. And you throw in Venom into the mix, and you throw in demons and stuff. Hell yeah. So, yeah, great arc. Like I said, my biggest nitpick, well, I guess there would be two of them. One, I hate when the big two did stuff like this. Marvel was like big time known for doing this a lot, where they would have like an arc or an event, and they were divided in between multiple series. And it's kind of annoying because basically if you want to know what's going on, you got to buy every single issue. So you got to buy issues from series that you might not be interested in. Maybe you're a big fan of Spider-Man. You don't really care for Ghost Rider all that much. Like you might like him when he's, in a Spider-Man issue, but other than that, you don't go out of your way to seek out Ghost Rider. But if you want to keep up with this arc, then you have to. Or vice versa, if you're a fan of Ghost Rider but not a big fan of Spider-Man. But yeah, I've never been a fan of that. I don't know. Maybe you think differently. Maybe you enjoy stuff like that. But I always found it as just a way to really nickel and dime your audience. I think stuff like this, just either have it in one series or just do a little mini spin-off, like a little 4-issue mini series that covers it. But yeah, that I didn't care for. But whatever. Also, like I mentioned before, some of the action that takes place off panel, or just, I don't want to say the action takes place off panel, but it's like the impact or the big moment takes place off panel. So like Spider-Man is kicking someone and the actual kick landing happens off panel, so you don't see it. Johnny Blaze stabbing Venom and you only see like a third of his hands while most of it is off panel. This happens a lot where things are just right off panel and you don't really see the impact. So it just, I didn't like that. Like the composition, if I was the editor, I'd be like, your artwork is good, but pull back a little bit, zoom out a little bit. You're like, to use film terms, you're way too zoomed in that you're missing a lot of the cool epic moments. Like a lot of the impactful moments are happening off panel. So pull back a little bit. Also, I guess just a little bit of a complaint would be the lead-in. The lead-in was pretty much just one issue. We didn't need the 3 issues. So, I mean, I'm not blaming the Spirits of Venom on that. I guess maybe I'm kind of blaming Marvel for having those 3 previous issues. It's Ghost Rider, Blaze, Spirits of Vengeance, issue number 1, 2, and 3. Having those be considered part of the lead-in to Spirits of Venom when the whole Lilith storyline doesn't happen whatsoever in Spirits of Venom. And also it's just kind of a blue balls moment where you have all the build-up for Lilith happen and then you have the conclusion to that in a completely different series. Like that's BS, but I've already kind of ranted on that in the previous video. But yeah, other than that, I mean, the story itself was great. I loved the Spirits of Venom. I thought this was a nice, good little crossover event. Always love to see Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze teaming up with Spider-Man. But yeah, there you go. Spirits of Venom. There's the main story arc. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. This was kind of tough. I don't know if I want to do an event review again. It's a lot easier to do single issues because then I can spend more time on them. Whereas when it comes to doing events and then trying to break it up and trying to basically go through 4 issues in one video, I don't know. I feel like I kind of rambled or kind of went all over the place at times. I'm going to see how much of that I can fix during editing. So yeah, if you got any other recommendations, I mean, if you got an event recommendation, I will still be willing to give them a try. Hopefully it's maybe something short, like a 3-issue event or something. But yeah, if you got any recommendations for comics, whether it be ongoing or something like this, something that came out decades ago, it can even be like something that came out a century ago. I love reading, the Golden Age comics as well. So yeah, if you got anything you want me to check out, I'll see if I can track it down. Also manga. I've been doing more manga spotlights. So if you want manga recommendations or me to do a video on something manga related, let me know. But yeah, just any recommendations, let me know. I do these videos for you guys. Yeah, tell me what you want to see. But I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.